the Jets with a 10-5 lead. The Jets figure that the games, including this one, the next 3 are all winnable. They could be 3-3, but as we look at the Coors Light first half statistics and all the numbers favoring the Jets, but they lead by less than a touchdown, and we're unable to convert that fumble, Bob Trumpy, in Rams territory into any points.
Yeah, and you know, Dick, this is what's happened to the Jets. They just hurt themselves. The safety that allowed the Rams the 2 points and another chance to get another 3. I don't know what's going on with the Jets. They seem to just be running in mud. Things work so well for them, and then bam, they hit that mud puddle, and they can't do anything right.
It seems like they get 8 yards rushing, 12 yards rushing, and then they go 1, 2, minus 4. Right. Why does it work?
I don't know. A penalty, a mistake, a stack of a quarterback in the end zone, things of that nature. Just they not only kill the drive, they kill the confidence in the team. And this is a young team, but they just keep hurting themselves.
Well, the Rams with 1 win, and they won it here against New England 14-0, and they're in it going into the second half, down by only 5. Todd Kinchin, rookie wide receiver, being used to return kicks, gets it out to about the 22, where Glenn Cadrez, a rookie from Houston, makes the tackle for the Jets.
Now, Dick, starting in the second half, as you look at Jim Everett coming out there, I don't know that they did anything in the first half that they can consistently go to in the second half. He was erratic throwing the football. They had a play here and there, but nothing that's really bread and butter for an offense to build on.
How many times yesterday at the Rams camp did we hear the phrase out of sync?
Out of sync.
And that certainly fits the
perfectly
first half.
describes it, yes.
Well, it's adjusting to a new head coach, although not a new offensive coordinator. Sam Peasy's been here for several years. Into the flat, well thrown. And Cleveland Gary stops at about the 27, close to 5 yards. Kyle Clifton, the veteran middle linebacker from TCU, made the stop.
I love that throw out in the flat. It's the outlet. It's the one that Bill Walsh put in for San Francisco. It makes the defense defend the play. I mean, it picks up 5 yards. It's almost unstoppable. That's a good play to start the second half with. Everybody on the Rams now feel pretty positive.
And we check. Dennis Byrd is not on the field for the Jets. He bruised his shoulder, remember, at the end of the first half. And Bill Pickell, the former Raider, number 71, is now at his position. And they run right at Pickell with Cleveland Gary, and he drives to the 43. 16 yards for Cleveland Gary.
Well, you're going to see it come right at you. Excellent down block by the tight end of the Los Angeles Rams. Nice power sweep. And I also see another number in there, too. Paul Fraze is playing defensive line for the New York Jets, number 91. So they've got more than one defensive lineman out. There's Fraze. He's a linebacker. He does play some defensive line, but he's primarily a linebacker.
At 6'5", 270. First down Rams, 10-5 Jets lead. We're just starting the second half, and Cleveland Gary finds another big hole, and he's to the Jets' 46-yard line before Mo Lewis and Lonnie Young can tag him.
Again, from behind the defense. Nice cutback here. See that little move by Cleveland Gary right there? Cutting back against the pressure of the defense. Well, Chuck Knox has been known to do a lot of things, and he's at least lit some kind of fire underneath the Rams here. Excellent job. They're spreading out that defensive front four of the New York Jets and finding the crease in that defense.
Wide open is Del Pino. And the Rams have another good chunk of yardage inside the Jets' 40-yard line. We're checking that defensive line now, the New York Jets, and they're going with Gunn and Mercereau inside the starters, but Marvin Washington, Pickell, and we saw Mario Johnson in there for a while. So he's alternating, and a part of that is the heat. We now get a report from on the field that the temperature is 105 degrees. As they say here in Southern California, but it's dry heat.
It's dry heat, yeah.
Not humid.
Tell these guys it's dry heat. Those guys in green and white.
2nd and 3. Carter and Damone Johnson, 2 tight ends in for the Rams. And Gary with another hole. And the safeties are making a lot of tackles for the Jets. here in the second half.
And that's not what you want. I'm wondering if maybe there might have been a personal conversation between one Chuck Knox and maybe Cleveland Gary, because Cleveland Gary breaking tackles, running over, around, and through people here to start the second half.
Gary comes out with a breather, and Robert Del Pino is in. We've not seen Anthony Thompson picked up by the Rams from the Phoenix Cardinals. Trailing by 5. Everett on first down. Going for 6. Oh, down. Flipper Anderson. Oh. And he beat James Hasty with that incredibly well-timed leap. The Rams have the lead. That makes news in this part of the country.
He's on the outside, bump and run, 40 on 83, top of the screen, coverage excellent, underthrown just enough for Flipper Anderson to go up and get it. He is in bounds, points count, beautifully thrown ball.
Zendejas with a try for point. Good job by Pagel on the high snap, and the Rams have the lead for the first time.
I take my son to daycare every day. And
Willie Anderson, Paulsboro, New Jersey, that's where he's from, played at UCLA. 31-yard touchdown, his first catch of the game, and the Rams lead 12-10. Terrence Mathis at the goal line. And the Jets are stopped at the 14 by Fred Strickland. A flag is down. Let's go back to Willie Anderson, whose career average always big. In fact, you total all those out, and somehow it comes out this way. Trust me, folks. Going into this game, 22.2 yards every catch in the big leagues. And remember, the biggest of all was in '89 against the Giants. He, in overtime, caught the touchdown that won it and ran right on into the locker room. That was a high moment for the Rams. They lost the next weekend, the NFC game, championship game to San Francisco, and the losing under John Robinson continued, and Robinson now gone. And Anderson said one of the reasons was he got a little too close to his players. That's interesting.
I thought the admission by Flipper Anderson that we may have taken advantage of John Robinson was a big admission. Yeah.
Giving us a New Jersey geography lesson here.
Good time by Everett. He throws this ball perfectly. Hasty does not have bad coverage. Anderson goes up and gets it.
The penalty on the kickoff against the Jets. Illegal use of the hands. They start at the 7-yard line. Eric Caddis was whistled. So Browning Nagel working from behind the first time in the game. And he gives to Brad Baxter, who plows across the 10. It was in this field position that Nagel got himself in trouble, scrambling in the end zone, and Kevin Green forcing the fumble and the safety in the second quarter.
That was the big play at the end of the first half, but the Jets come out here in the second half, I believe, Dick, with a great deal of confidence. Even though they now trail 12-10, they've been able to run the ball and run the ball well. So they've got something to build on, something to hang on to here in their second half.
Play action. And Nagel rifles, almost intercepted. Darrell Henley had it well covered.
Young quarterbacks, when they make up their mind before the snap where they're going to throw it, they get in trouble. One of the problems that young quarterbacks have is they lock onto receivers. No way that ball should have been thrown.
And Henley says, no way, I shouldn't have intercepted it. He had it read perfectly, played perfectly. Cut off tune. And Nagel lucky to get that one back.
He wants it back. Please bring me that ball back.
3rd and 5. Rams use 6 defensive backs. Knox rarely blitzes, doesn't like to put himself in that position, and doesn't here.
Well,
knocked away by Steve Israel, the rookie corner. So a couple of good plays at the corner in that sequence.
Israel trying to break into the lineup here. A young man that Chuck Knox is, has a world of talent, maybe the fastest player on the team. But now what the defensive backs are doing, they're reading the drop of Browning-Nagel, and that's what's causing them to be so close there in coverage, Dick.
Well, the Jets unable to pick up a first down, so Aguiar will have to kick from just around his goal line to Turner out at the Ram 42. He scuffs it low, takes a Jets bounce, and Turner may have lost it. The ball is free, and the Jets recover at the 50-yard line.
No.
Glenn Cadrez falls on the ball as that poor kick turned out to be a weapon for the Jets. Skidding along, it was muffed by Turner, and the Jets recover to the dismay of Chuck Knox in the Ram sidelines.
This ball is so low, he says, I got plenty of time to pick this thing up. But suddenly Paul Fraze is right there. My goodness gracious. That's another big bite out of someone by Chuck Knox come Monday. Special teams are something that he relies on heavily. You cannot make mistakes. He just stands there. Nice little stare, and this guy has got a stare.
Does he ever? And one of his tricks is to meet his team at the locker room door at the end of the game. No word said. Just look into those blue eyes, and he checks you out.
There's only one door in that locker room. There's only one way in.
So from the 49, the Jets with a break, and here comes Blair Thomas for a first down at the 36-yard line, where Michael Stewart can make the hit.
Now, Dick, you can see how momentum swift just changes so quickly. That mistake, and suddenly now the defense of the Rams almost tied to the line of scrimmage. Blair Thomas bounces outside. Excellent run by Blair Thomas. Now all of a sudden the Jets, even with that 3 downs and out, confidence once again.
Yeah, the Rams get the touchdown drive to open the half, take the lead. Should have had the ball at midfield, good position. You know, when they just say one fumble in the box score, it doesn't tell the emotional impact on an entire team. You see how well the Jets are rushing the ball. First down at the 36. Thomas again. Larry Kelm, 52, the first to make the hit after a gain of a couple.
Dick, we keep track of all kinds of numbers in this game, and the numbers never indicate the emotion of the game. I mean, never. Even when you own another team and the numbers are staggering, it may not tell the emotion of the game, the psychology of the game. And that was a big psychological change when he fumbled that punt return.
Tune to the left and more to the right on 2nd and 7.
You need to throw the ball to the tight end here. He's been absolutely ignored to this point in this game.
Thomas and Baxter, and lots of movement. Both the backs and the linemen moving, and that must have been Nagel having a problem with the count that he gave in the huddle. The ball wasn't snapped.
You know, whoever invented this game and put points on that ball was a genius, an absolute genius. It never bounces the same way twice.
That's right. Well, in the old days, you know, when I can remember, boys.
Ball start, number 66, offense, 5-yard penalty.
The ball was football. It was a ball to be kicked, and it was rounder at the end. Took a more reliable bounce. In fact, a lot of players drop kick for the field goals. In fact, I saw Nagel in warm-up today, just casually drop kick one cleanly through the uprights from 35 yards. Just did it casually as he left the field. That's hard to do with that sharp-pointed ball, made more for passing, and of course that creates those funny bounces.
But last year he was the third-string quarterback, so he had a lot of time to sharpen a lot of skills, Dick.
Indeed. So 2nd and 12, the Jets' 7th penalty today. And there's that snap, direct snap to the fullback, and oh, what a hit! Blair Thomas coughs it up. The Rams recover. What a hit by Pat Terrell. 37.
You know, the problem was, I think you're going to see clearly on this, it seemed to me it was Blair Thomas. He had his head down, Dick. when you're running direct snap to Blair Thomas. Now watch what happens when he first gets hit. Green, he bounces off, head down. He doesn't know where the contact is coming from. Terrell just ejects him from the football.
With the emphasis on tear, he did just that. Ball free, and the Rams, on an exchange of fumbles, have it at the 34. Terrell, who was drafted in the second round 2 years ago. So the Jets had recovered the fumble and fumbled it right back. So that hit by Terrell takes Vernon Turner, who fumbled the punt, off the hook. Rams lead 12-10, midpoint of the third quarter, and Gary drawing a crowd, and he loses a yard or two. Scott Mercereau, 94, and others.
This Jet team will talk. Sometimes big talking teams don't listen very well.
Was Kozla a talker as a player?
No, he was not. Very quiet, very studious.
Did you think he'd be a coach as a player?
Yeah, I knew at the outset. As a matter of fact, when he retired, he tried everything not to be a coach, and still turned out to be a coach.
In his third year, and boy, this is a make-or-break game. Could the Jets recover from 0-4? Everett underneath. Turner spinning to the 40-yard line, leaves him about 4 yards shy of a first down. So the punt team on for the Rams. Lonnie Young, the veteran at safety, makes the hit.
You know, the one thing I like about Jim Everett this second half, he's looked and found the outlet receiver very well. And that'll make the stuff deep better as this second half goes on.
There's Rob Carpenter, one of 10 Plan B acquisitions on this Jets roster. Got him from New England. Bracken, a beautiful spiral. What a kick. All the way to the 5-yard line. And a good return by Carpenter of almost 19 out to the 24, and with it a timeout. 6:05 left in the third period. Third period tonight, an all-new Secret Service based on the actual case. Foreign diplomat kidnapped by terrorists, and an all-new eyewitness video. You'll see incredible footage of a helicopter crash. You'll meet the pilot who survived. Followed by the comedy premiere, King Ralph, starring John Goodman. That's tonight on NBC. Jets on a 20-yard return by Rob Carpenter started their 24-yard line. It was a big kick, but outkicked the coverage. Underneath the throw to Blair Thomas. They tried to strip it away, but it was after the whistle at the 30-yard line. A gain of 6. Roman Pfeiffer in on another play for the Rams. He's had a good game.
I almost sensed that the underneath pass by Browning Nagel is to set something up here. You know, there's a lot of zone coverage here, and you find backs underneath, tight ends underneath, and you try to get the ball quickly down the field. Freeman McNeil in the game too. Probably the Jets' best pass receiver out of the backfield.
And at 33, McNeil in his 12th season still has those quick feet. A little delay to McNeil, and unable to get started. The Rams read it well, and Bill Hawkins, a #1 pick out of Miami of Florida in 1989, in on the tackle.
You know, Hawkins, when he played for the University of Miami, not a particularly big kid. Played at like 245 or 50 pounds for the Hurricanes. And, of course, you know the Hurricanes play a major college special. One of the big problems he has is just getting big enough from the waist down to be a defensive lineman in the NFL.
And when they drafted him, they thought they had the second Merlin Olsen, but it hasn't proved to be quite that successful for Hawkins, who has 3 sacks in 3 years. 3rd and 4. With McNeil in motion. Nagel looking the other way. Has a man open. It's Toon, and that will be out to the 38-yard line on a first down.
Excellent job by Toon, catching that ball, keeping his feet inbound, something Jets receivers practice religiously. When Nagel rolls to the right, most defensive coordinators will say, forget about that guy on the far sideline. The quarterback can't get it there. Not true with Browning Nagel. Looks like a ballerina on the side. Watch him roll. Boom.
What was that?
That was a long throw.
Sound effects.
Yes.
4 catches for Toon. I didn't hear the sound effects for the reception. I guess he's got real soft hands.
No, it was
McNeil on first down, his second carry of the game, into Mark Boutte, one of those young defensive tackles, picked in the 3rd round by the Rams out of LSU. And as Chuck Knox talked about Boutte and Gilbert, and this is the fulcrum of that defense, that interior 2 tackles. He's going with youth. They're making mistakes. And Sean Gilbert, the #1 pick, the 3rd guy selected in the draft, was saying, hey, they've proven to me I'm really a kid, that I'm really dumb. He even said, duh, a couple of times. They just suckered me in. There I am standing, duh, he said. But they're going to be tough. They're talented, but they just got to learn on the job.
On the job, on the field is the key part.
Nagel. And he goes to the big target Toon again. Boy, that showed Nagel. He saw his man covered, looked away, and then went right back, I think, to his original target.
Certainly looked like his finger was all right. I mean, he almost dislocated his shoulder with that pump fake, but he hung onto the football. Toon stays with this pattern, too. Zone again, inside the corner, outside Kelm, and then here comes the gun. That ball almost gets all the way through the hands of Al Toon.
Toon with 5 catches today. They'll leave him just 4 shy of the 500 mark.
Interesting formation here. 3 wides, a tight end, just 1 running back.
3rd and a short yard. And Nagel will spend a timeout. Or will he? The flag is down. It'll be delay a game. Couldn't get it off in time. He wanted to call time, but a lot of things for that young quarterback to be thinking about. But with the encouragement of Bruce Coslett and Jets management, Nagel certainly went to school in the offseason. You talk about a young guy saying, hey, I want the job. I'll show you that I'm ready to learn.
5 days a week starting in February, at least 4 hours a day until the weather changed. And then he went outside for another 2-3 hours. This guy even broke down films of the New York Jets with the coaches to understand from the first brick how this offense was put together.
Watching other positions that have really helped me to understand play calling and my role. 3rd and 6. He's got the first down to Burkett at the Ram 43. Israel, the tackler.
Dick, let me add one other aspect to Browning Nagel. He was the 3rd string quarterback on the Jets last year. So last year he was Jim Kelly, he was Dan Marino, he was Bernie Kosar. He didn't run 10 snaps in the New York Jets offense the entire year, and 6 of those were in a game in the late part of the season.
And he said, sometimes I just said, you guys know what to do. Get in position. Let's go.
Get out there.
He's an interesting young man, and with obviously a world of talent. But he, too, is learning on the job. Wiki outside, doesn't get much platoon except another reception for Al. A 1-yard gain. Darrell Henley was right there.
Dick, what you're seeing now is the Rams are starting to catch on here to what's going on. They are, watch the corner. He's sitting in zone, but he's reading Nagel's drop. On a 3-step drop, you'll see that corner fire up. Watch the corner now. 1, 2, 3. There, he sees him drop. He's right up there in Al Toon's face for, what, did he gain a yard?
That's all. Trailing 12-10 with less than a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. Play action to Baxter. Nagel almost intercepted by Henley. Henley's played a terrific game. He's been there many times, and Henley thought that little face mask to deny him the intercept.
And, of course, we documented that the Jets wanted to as best they could, isolate these tall receivers versus these short defensive backs. Soon, basically had Henley doing a do-si-do there. Henley still able to come back, and Toon did get a hand on his face mask.
It's looked at differently when it's reversed, isn't it? Had that been the defender against the receiver, it might have been a flag.
Yep. I'd never admit that being an ex-receiver, but you are right.
23 seconds left in the quarter. A 3rd and 9 for Nagel. Uh-oh, fumble, and the Rams have it. Covered by Kevin Green. It was Gerald Robinson who hit him from the backside.
On the half roll, you can see Robinson 97 coming. He says, if I got time, is he going to do it? He brings it back. That gives him the opportunity to make the sack. And between his feet, the ball lies. Kevin Green comes up with the fumble. Rams ball again.
Domino's Pizza.
But you can see right at the end of it that he thinks Browning Nagel throws it. Now watch 97. He lets up, and he still sees the ball. Then he hits it, and the ball goes loose. He didn't want a flag. He wanted to be aggressive, but he didn't want to get a flag for a late hit on the quarterback.
Robinson, who played with Kevin Green at Auburn, and it was Green who recovered the fumble. At the Jets 49 with just seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. 12-10, Los Angeles, big hole. Gary. Oh, almost stripped from behind by Marvin Washington, but it's about a 10-yard pickup for the Rams at the end of the 3rd quarter. Los Angeles leading 12-10 here at Anaheim Stadium, and we'll return after these messages from your local station. The Rams with a safety at the end of the first half and then a touchdown drive to open the second half, leading 12-10, and after the turnover, fumble by Nagel, have it 2nd and 1 at the 39 of the Jets. Gary picking his hole and has enough for the first down at the Jets 37-yard line. Back to Nagel. That was his strong arm, and another in the East-West Shrine game a couple of years ago that caught the scout's eyes. Brett Favre of Southern Miss, and Favre of the Green Bay Packers has thrown 2 touchdown passes against the Steelers, trying to end the Cinderella start for Bill Cowher at 17-3 Green Bay in the 4th quarter. And up in the Kingdom, Chuck Knox's former home for 9 years, Pete Stoyanovich of Miami has just kicked his 4th field goal, and Miami leads the Seahawks 12-10. Play action, and Everett has a man, the tight end Carter, at the 21-yard line. First down. Carter, a number 2 pick of the Lions, and not used when they went to the run and shoot.
Shame on them for not using their tight end. Nice roll here by Jim Everett. Squares his shoulders. This is a tough pass to throw. Carter probably could have run a little further. First completion of the day to Pat Carter.
His 5th catch of the year, but the talk at the Rams camp is that they really like the way Carter suddenly has become a receiver, not just a blocker. He played at Florida State. How about the Seminoles and the Hurricanes next week? Everett had trouble getting away from center. Hey, running like Bronco Nagurski. But a flag is down.
That was a totally busted play. No chance we'll ever see that one again.
I think that was a quarterback draw.
Do you? All right.
False start on the offensive line. 5-yard penalty. The foul was prior to the snap.
Out
5 yards, first down.
Sync.
Out of sync, but leading 12-10. Out of sync.
And
Jackie
denies
Slater.
Everett a chance. There's Jackie Slater. In his story from Jackson State, I was the Rams radio announcer, and Chuck Knox was the coach when Slater was picked in 1976. He's broken Merlin Olsen and Charlie Cowan, Joe Chiavelli's record of 15 years. This is his 17th year playing in his 226th game. He's 38 years young. Still doing the job. Oh, they had that perfectly set up to
Goodness.
Delpino, and Everett threw it in the grass.
Bad
they had
mechanics.
4 blockers against 2 white shirts.
Yep, just bad mechanics on Jim Everett's part. One of the things a quarterback has to do is when you have plays like this, keep your feet moving. When your feet get stuck in the ground, then it's very difficult to throw the ball. Watch what happens to him. See, his feet just die, throws the thing right in the ground. As soon as he knows, throws it. Oh, no. You know,
like hitting a golf ball or tennis ball, it's tough to hit it when you're falling away from the ball.
Got to have those feet moving. He's accused of having happy feet. It may be his biggest attribute.
2nd and 15. Underneath to Delpino, takes quite a pop inside from Kyle Clifton. With Joe Kelly in there now to make the tackle. Let's go to Bob Costas in New York.
Well, Dick, the Steelers may not be undefeated much longer. Here's Brett Favre with an 8-yard touchdown pass to Robert Brooks. For Favre, his 2nd scoring throw of the day. And Green Bay is up by 2 touchdowns at home for Mike Holmgren, 17-3 at Lambeau Field. Back out to Anaheim.
All right, Bob, it's hotter here than a Barcelona barbecue.
Yes, it is.
105 in the shade, and the Rams making it tough on the Jets and their fans. As Everett works out of the shotgun, 3rd and 11. Complete at the 9, 1st down to Henry Ellard, coming back to meet the ball. 1st and goal.
Again, you can see what Chuck Knox likes in Jim Everett. For this season, he has a personal coach, Ted Tolner. Nice roll here. Good protection. He's got plenty of time. Ellard just runs the outs. And when he steps into that ball, he can really hum it.
And the veteran Jackie Slater, look at him. He pancaked his man, giving Everett all kinds of time to find Ellard. 1st and goal at the 9. We're in the 4th quarter in Anaheim. 11 minutes, 40 seconds left, and the Rams, modest underdogs at home, lead 12-10. Cleveland Gary. And the job for the Jets now is to try to force just a field goal so that they're within a touchdown of the lead.
And we've had about 3 momentum swings here in this 2nd half. Momentum clearly on the Los Angeles Rams side right now, and head coach Bruce Coslett has seen this recurring theme happen to his football team. First part of this season.
Coslett, who played his college ball in California up in the San Joaquin Valley at the University of Pacific. Bob Lee, the former quarterback with the Vikings, was the passer on his collegiate team. From the 8-yard line. Everett, who's been the rusher today, gets 3 on that scramble. Joe Kelly with the stop. 3rd and goal from the 5. 26 yards rushing for Everett today.
You can see that Jim Everett's first choice is to run the ball. Seems to me, though, the better choice is try to make the completion. You don't want to throw the interception, but try to make the completion down the field. If not, just throw it into the ground. Don't run the football down there. It can be jarred loose of you.
Dennis Byrd not in the lineup. He'll not play again today. A bruised shoulder. This is a very big play for both clubs. And it's incomplete. The man was open. Jeff Chadwick in the end zone, but Everett skips it low. So the field goal unit comes on.
Again, very poor mechanics for Jim Everett. Yeah. Chuck Knox taking the headset away from Ted Tolner there to talk to people upstairs. Everett that time again, his feet went dead. You got to keep those feet moving so that you can throw off that front foot.
A couple of yards more than an extra point. 22-yard attempt by Zendejas. And the Rams move their lead to 5 here at Anaheim with just under 10 minutes to go. It's 15-10.
Silver summer. Silver time, silver line, girl in the silver suit.
The mistake that Jim Everett makes in mechanics. He's got plenty of time here, but watch his left foot. You'll stop right. He's looking. His foot's going out here. The receiver is here. Like Joe Montana has said many times, step at that receiver and throw. That's why that baby dives into the ground. Incomplete pass.
So instead of 7, Everett and the Rams settled for 3 and a 15-10 lead as he talks to Chadwick. Apparently some miscommunication on the route run, and maybe that's why Everett was looking for something wider. But boy, he had a clear shot at him, and he was open.
No excuse for that one.
That was after the fumble by Nagel. The Rams make it a 3-point conversion, and Mathis will not run it out at the 20. The Jets will start with 9:53 left in the 4th period. Next Sunday, NBC Sports invites you to join us at 12:30 for NFL Live, and the big game of the day, the Dolphins, who are now ahead by 2, at least the last report we saw, with Stoyanovich kicking 4 field goals. They try to go at a 3-0 start. Buffalo already with a big win today in New England, winning convincingly, and if there were any doubters, their triumph up at San Francisco a couple of weeks ago made some conversions. And Kansas City, Denver, some of you will see that game at 4 o'clock. That's next Sunday as this season heats up as we move into the fall portion of the schedule. Browning Nagel. Some good things today and some not so good. His fumble led to the last 3 points and a whistle. Flag thrown and delay of game the call.
Goodness.
Boy, that's tough on the first play of a sequence.
Yep. Look at Bruce Coslett. I do notice, too, that Mark Boyer is back in the ballgame.
That's penalty. First down.
He is now coming out. They're going with regular people, but in the first period, the Jets went with 2 tight ends, 1 running back, had a good running attack. There's Boyer. He's still in the huddle. Sadowski has come out of the game.
Boyer had a little pinched nerve in the neck, a report earlier that kept him out a couple of series. 1 yard separating them in total yards now as the Rams coming back from a very slow start. And the Jets, who seemed to run it well in the first quarter, having trouble buying yards currently. Oh. Intercepted by Larry Kelm, and Kelm is to the 10. Bill Hawkins was in Nagel's face, and Kelm ducks in front of the receiver.
From behind the offense, you see a perfect drop by Kelm. He doesn't buy the fake by 28 Chappie. He is right there to be underneath right in the pass lane. Hawkins does get pressure on Nagel, but Kelm with a beautiful linebacker zone drop right underneath the receiver.
Hawkins part of the play, and Kelm has his 3rd career interception. The former Aggie positions the Rams leading 15-10 at the Jets' 10-yard line. Gary with 5. Del Pino and Joe Kelly. Little slapping around.
Well, the Jets have lost some defensive players today. It's hot. Not a smart time for another defensive player to get himself thrown out of the game. Kelm obviously happy.
Lonnie Young, number 31, have trouble making the stop on Gary as he comes up.
Cleveland Gary will break a tackle. That's an arm attempt by Lonnie Young. Washington finally gets him down along with Bill Pickell at number 71.
Anderson with a touchdown catch way out to the left. Aaron Cox to the right. Gary again. And Kelly gets him at the 2-yard line. Kyle Clifton back in there. 59. Kelly wears 58.
Dick, last night in speaking with Pete Carroll and Bruce Coslett, both admitted that they can't afford to have their defense on the field as much as it's been on the field in this second half. This is a pressure defense at the line of scrimmage, a turnover defense. It's not big. It's not particularly stout. It doesn't do well against a sustained offensive drive like the Rams have put on this second half.
The Rams with almost a certain field goal and an 8-point lead. And Everett's going to call time. It comes with 8:22 left in the fourth quarter.
Mazda, it just feels right. By Delta Airlines. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. By Shit Tracer, it traces every curve on your face. And by Liberty Mutual. At Liberty Mutual, we're facing the issues that face our customers.
In the heat of this late September Western day, Cleveland, Gary has given Chuck Knox 71 yards rushing out of the game at the moment on 3rd and goal just outside the 2. They give it to David Lang, and the Jets are there, led by veteran Bill Pickel. The first carry of the game for David Lang, and the first carry of the year, the first carry of his career on 3rd and goal at the 2.
Strange spot. See, Washington 97 is across the line of scrimmage, blows the play up. Mercereau 94, and others to assist again a field goal attempt.
Zendejas trying to get at least 3 out of the Kelm interception. It's a 20-yard attempt. He has his 3rd of the day, hit the upright from 45 to miss on the 4th. The Rams have better than the touchdown lead.
Hey, Hawkin, I don't like kids.
Now it's serious time for the Jets, trailing by 8. Nagel wide open. Rob Moore first down at the 41, and the lick from Hugh Newman, Anthony Newman.
That ball had a beautiful touch on it by Browning Nagel, just over the deep drop of the linebackers. Watch 52, Larry Kelm, bottom of the screen. See, he's hung up. There's Roman Pfeiffer, 58, beautiful touch, and Moore makes the big catch and does hang on.
21 yards on the play. Nagel long, and no one there in the middle of the field except a couple of Rams. Rob Moore was on the far sidelines. Newman and Bailey on the coverage, and Anthony Newman, as Bruce Kozlet checks his list, we're talking with Newman, asking how he got the nickname Q, and his father, a pool shark, dreamed about playing in the Q in Chicago, where the big guys like Moscone and Minnesota Fats used to play, and he has learned to play pool when he's 3 years old. I said, you any good? He said, well, I'd be only the best in the NFL. He says, although I hear this guy over in Buffalo, that running back, Kenneth Davis, plays a pretty good game. I might have to take him on. 2nd and 10. Intercepted by Henley. He was due at the 50, at the 40. Henley's first of the year. It went through the hands of Blair Thomas. The last 4 Jets possessions have ended in turnovers. Fumble, fumble, intercept, intercept. And Henley slow getting up.
Blair Thomas was the intended receiver. Now that you see Henley up, it'll happen at the left-hand side of the screen. You see Thomas release out of the picture. I mean, right through his hands. Henley right there to make the interception.
But your point is well taken, Bob Trumpy, earlier, that while that ball looked catchable, with the heat that Nagel puts on it, Nagel makes the tackle, that ball is rising and ripped right through his fingertips. Look at it from the receiver's angle. That's a tough catch.
That's a very tough catch, and that's what he has to learn, that touch to the short receivers.
Henley brings it to the 40 of the Jets. 18-10 Los Angeles with 6.5 to go. Flag down as Gary goes to the 40, and the Rams' design here is to chew up as much of that clock as possible. Nagel put a pretty good tackle on Henley.
Henley seems to have recovered. Looks like there's something in his eye. Trainer's addressing the problem there.
Holding number 61, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
The center, Brostick. The Jets were 4th best in the NFL last year in turnovers at +12. They started this year a -3, and they've given it up 4 straight times in the second half. And when you look at turnovers and the teams that are high in the plus column, you're looking at Super Bowl teams. And the last 4 will deny. Those results will deny a team who are about to become 0-4. Gary, little safety valve, is to the 45-yard line. And the Jets are going to spend one of their 3 timeouts here. That's about as early as you'll see him. So Bruce Kozlik down by 8, realizing he can't let the Rams just run out the clock. 6 minutes to go. And the Jets are that close to being 0-4. Dennis Byrd, one of their top defenders, a seriously bruised shoulder. Gary staying inbounds as the tackle made by Marvin Washington. The Jets have used 1 timeout, and are they going to, yes, spend the second here at 5:47.
If the score remains the same as you look at Bruce Kozlik, the head coach, the New York Jets are going to be under siege from the press if they're not already.
Well, how could you go 5-0, beat the Eagles twice in the preseason, to 0-4? Let's go to Bob Costas.
Miami comes back. Dan Marino will hit Fred Banks, capping a 12-play, 80-yard drive with this 15-yard touchdown. Nice over-the-shoulder catch. And now, with just over 2 minutes remaining, it's the Dolphins' turn to lead at the Kingdome over the Seahawks, 19-17.
All right, Bob, and here in Anaheim, the underdog Rams leading the Jets 18-10. And next Sunday, if Miami can hold on to that lead at Seattle, they'd be 3-0. Going against Buffalo would be one of the, if not the top game of the upcoming weekend, and you'll see it at 1 o'clock Eastern time after NFL Live at 12:30. Some of you fans will see the Chiefs and the Broncos. Kansas City playing the Raiders at home tomorrow night. They're 2-1. Denver already a winner today, 3-1. Well, the Rams, much maligned, could be 2-2.
I think Chuck Knox would be the most surprised guy in Southern California.
Yeah, but he's a fox, you know.
Oh,
he
yeah.
underplays. He's done that. They're always the problem. And there's contact, and flags are down. It's a free play for Everett. And Ellard has the catch inside the 30. A fumble, but that won't count if it's against the Jets, but they'll play it out. It's Marcus Turner, a former UCLA star, all the way to the 30-yard line. Now it's at the Jets' ball at the 30. This is a big, big call. No question the Jets made contact, but were they drawn offside? Mark Gunn, 96, was into the offensive line.
Jerry Markbright will figure all of this out for us.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
The toughest part of a coach's job may be hiding all that's inside. Kozlik's showing no emotion, and you know there's just got to be a furnace in there.
Well, I know that Bruce Kozlik is someone who is a stickler for detail, and the dumb little mistakes that a football team makes. I mean, he expected mistakes from a rookie quarterback, but he's had some veterans over these first 4 weeks now make rookie mistakes which are unforgivable.
Maybe it was a handicap to play so well this summer for the Jets, and too much expected. Maybe the players did believe too much in their own unmeaningful record. Everett going long. Well covered, and Brim will intercept in the end zone. He can run it out if he wants to. Yes, takes the chance, and it'll pay off. He's to the 20. Oh! And he's cartwheeled down at the 24. Henry Ellard, what a hit. And there are flags all over the field. Ellard playing that one like the best of defenders.
I don't think Henry Ellard wants to make a living doing that. But it looked like at one time in his career he had made a tackle.
The pass by Everett just looked like it had interception written on it all the way.
Yeah, and Flipper Anderson wanted no part of the reception. It was going into a crowd. His choice was not to go into a crowd.
Now the flags. And there's more than one.
We have 2 fouls on the return. We have an illegal block on number 57, On the return, and penalty is declined. We have an illegal block below the waist, which is a personal foul. 15 yards on number 37 on the return. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
This is a half roll by Jim Everett. Intended receiver is Willie Flipper Anderson. Watch when this ball is thrown. You should see him coming in the picture. He does not want to go into that crowd. You see him kind of pull up there. Brim with the interception almost looked like he had the wind knocked out of him. And then the best part for the Rams, this hit by Henry Ellard. Whoops. A 360, kind of a half gainer. Flags thrown.
Well, the Jets don't have a 37 in uniform today, but that's the penalty that the Rams accept. So the Jets down by 8. Halftime, 5-14, but they need a big, big play. Nagel batted in the air and caught by the Jets. Kevin Green actually knocked it up in the air, and there's Al Toon with another reception.
We knew eventually those tall receivers were going to pay off. He is the outside receiver. Kevin Green underneath. Excellent job of getting his hands up. Jump ball. Toon wins.
6-4 wins. Flag down on first down. That usually means illegal procedure or motion.
Full start on number 67, offense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Dwayne White. Al Toon with 7 catches in the game to lead all receivers. The Jets now are over the century mark in penalties. 12 penalties, 102 yards.
You can't blame that on a young quarterback.
Mike Brim with his jersey and pads off. That may be more a reflection of the heat than of any injury. Brim with a big interception in the Steeler game for a touchdown, 77 yards. Off balance, but there's Toon again with his 499th career catch. Right at the sticks at the 33. Henley and Bailey covering, and the Rams defense, they love the zone anyway, does Knox. They'll play it soft or give those 8-10 yarders. Clock running at 4:25. Rob Moore had a tough catch there. He had to try to stay in bounds, so he couldn't leap too high, and Bailey on the cover.
4:19 now to go. The Jets, as long as they have the ball on offense, are in the hurry-up 2-minute drill for the rest of this football game. They need 2 possessions. They need a score and another possession quickly to have a chance at this football game.
And they've used all their timeouts. 12 straight pass plays run by the Jets. Well, the scoreboard says no timeouts left, and we'll check to see if that's official. Look at the time for Nagel. Incredible. Now this whole side of the field opens. So they'll run it out of bounds at the 38-yard line. That'll be 4 yards shy of a first down.
Dick, the Jets are running just 3 receivers in the pattern.
You hear Chuck Knox? He said, somebody's got to be holding if a quarterback has that much time. Working that official.
I'm kind of surprised here, though, that I see the Jets go with just a 3-receiver pattern. Now they bring in, I think, let's see, Boyer leaves, so 1, 2, yeah, Mathis is in there. Now 4 wide receivers.
Third down. Actually, it's much closer to 4 if that matters, but the Jets have to get a first down. 4:08 left in the game. Oh, he just ripped that pass and right through the hands of Toon. Bailey on the coverage. You got to go for it. 4th and a little over 4.
He just told his quarterback, get back in the huddle. He'll signal a play in. He, being Bruce Coslett, will signal a play in here.
Green Bay has ended the great start for the Steelers. 17-3, a final in from Packard country.
Did you just see the motion by Bruce Coslett? He gave him a signal, and he goes, let's go. For Browning now. Come on, this one's on you. We need this one.
4 wide receivers. platoon. First down at the 45. Bailey the tackler. Clock runs.
Now, one of the things the Jets are doing is they're helping Herb Eatman on Kevin Green. So the running back sitting there next to the quarterback is in there for pass protection all the time.
The long out. A little too wide. Israel on the cover. Kevin Green, number 91 of the Rams, now playing the position that he wants to play full time, and that's standing up out there and going after the passer, and he'll get to do that the rest of this game as much as he has left in the tank.
He has that great first step that all great pass rushers have. Nice long stride up the field and really get around an offensive tackle.
I like the way he described that. He said, I like to scream upfield.
Scream.
Batted at the line of scrimmage, and if that's that young kid Boutte, it'll be the 7th one. No, it's Peel right next to him, because Boutte has 6 deflections. Peel from Illinois. I knew you'd pick that out, Trumpy. You saw him all the way.
One of the Fighting Illini. I don't know what it is about the Ram defensive linemen. They rush for so far, and then they get their hands up in the air. They see Peel 95. That one hits him right in the face mask.
Miami has won at Seattle 19-17. So it'll be a battle of unbeatens. The Dolphins and Buffalo here on NBC next Sunday. Terrence Mathis, well covered. Roman Pfeiffer, who is the Rams' best coverage linebacker at 6'2" and 230, there to break it up.
Those hands of Terrence Mathis barely took the spin off the ball thrown by Browning-Nagle.
You, as a receiver in your days, know how well that you got to get them together, almost like locking your thumbs.
Absolutely. And some quarterbacks like Browning-Nagle, 30 yards and still got the same steam.
Now the moment of truth, 4th and 10. Incomplete. The Rams take over on down. Oh my. 0 for 4.
Well, Jets better head for the bunkers when they get back to Manhattan.
They talked with Coslett and Carroll yesterday, and the player that just seemed to be a confident practice that the Jets came here feeling they were a good team, that they're going to break out of this. Rams seemed to be the perfect opponent. The Rams, on the other end, you went to there and you didn't get that at all at their practice. And Chuck Knox saying, hey, we're rebuilding. It's going to take time. Hey, they only won 3 games last year. Cleveland Gary and the Jets trying to rip it away. And the Rams will just run up that clock. The Jets do not have a timeout left. Remember, they used one early in the half, and then they called a couple at around the 6-minute mark.
Now, the Rams are going to take every second they possibly can. But the Jets now go home, and they're going to face an angry mob, because everybody said this week for the Jets, this is a must-win. Well, then what's next week?
I saw that graphic earlier. It would be only the 4th time in their history that the Jets have started so poorly. 0 and 4. They get New England and Indianapolis the next 2 weeks before a bye. Good news is the return of Johnny Mitchell, their heralded tight end, rookie receiver from Nebraska. He'll come off IR in a week, and later on NBC on the West Coast. But following our action from Anaheim, Secret Service eyewitness video, King Ralph with John Goodman. Our lineup tonight. Second half possessions for the Jets. Punt, fumble, fumble, intercept, intercept, turnover on downs as we go to the 2-minute warning. Time where you have to have empathy for the 3rd-year coach Coslett. Had taken a 10-0 lead in the first half. A field goal and a safety was 10-5 at halftime. Incredible. The Jets, of all their coaches, have never had a coach with a winning record. Slinging Sammy Baugh with the New York Titans then. 14-14, the best of marks. Cleveland Gary just protecting the ball, and Bruce Coslett, if Unless a miracle happens here in Anaheim, will be 14-21. Winningest coach, of course, Weeb Eubank, but even the great Weeb, who got them that Super Bowl III win, was 6 games under 500. They didn't have Namath around long enough.
No.
So Kozlet, a good guy that seemed to have a good team coming off a playoff 8-8 last year and a 5-0 preseason. That is one of the stunning early developments in the NFL that the Jets couldn't win their first 4 games. And now with more bad news, and we're the messenger, don't kill us, folks, if you're a Jets fan. Dennis Byrd will be out for at least 6 weeks, separated shoulder. So they lose Lageman and Byrd, their 2 best outside men. And that's the way it goes in sports. I mean, when it comes bad, it just blows in. It's a flood.
Seasons like this, or starts of seasons like this, always make me wonder why coaches want to go into coaching.
Rams just let it run down to the delay of game. 1:10 left. And there's a lot of glamour in being head coach in professional sports. But, boy, how would you like to have Bruce Kozlitz next week, starting right now?
How about his next press conference? I'd quit after that.
Any press conference. Bracken. Boy, that's a perfect punt. Down at the one. What'd I say? The floodgates. Everything goes the other way. 42-yard kick by Bracken, and Lilly, for the second time today, covers inside the 10-yard line.
Beautifully done by Sam Lilly.
Special thanks to Charlie Wright and Kevin Gilmore for their help in the booth today, along with the mighty Slingshot Snyderman. John Paratzis, our executive producer of NFL football. John Gonzalez. Sorry, coordinating producer. It just seems like such an executive. I want to use that title.
He didn't complain, though.
With a minute to go. And they hope they could catch the Rams all drifting way back. And McNeil with a few yards out to the 5. Nagel is at 50% on the game, 19 for 38, 200 yards, 2 interceptions. But McNeil, by running that play, doesn't get out of bounds. The clock keeps running. 37 seconds.
Well, the education of Brownie Nagel continues even at this point, Dick.
And he threw that one away wisely, and a man close enough. 31 seconds left.
Well, he told us last night, and he said, I didn't have to be tough with my team this week because they're tough on himself. Well, this week, it's Bruce's turn.
You know, that's right. He's going to get it.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're going to get it. But, you know, their attitude, talking with the players, I really liked what I heard. I mean, Irv Eatman said, hey, I played college ball out here. I've made no phone calls. Freeman McNeil spinning out across the 15. He said, I'm going to my room. I mean, we're 0-3. You don't invite friends out to see you play when you're 0-3. You got to. And Kozlitz just saying, hey, let's get it over with. Let's get out of here.
He gets out of here at 0-4.
And for the Rams, meanwhile, Chuck Knox is 2-2, and that in itself is something to put in headlines for the Rams. This guy can flat out coach. He can motivate men. He's taken a bad team, and they're one short of their total win mark of last year. 18-10. The big play of the game was the Kevin Green safety at the end of the first half, and there's Green, who played at Auburn and played all over this field today.